I'm going to be talking about two things today: the sudden and unexpected resignation of Canadian Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland, and also the new set of problems that the Indian students are facing in Canada. Both are extremely important because that give you a sense of where this country is headed. Don't get me wrong, Canada is very rich in natural resources. It also has one problem, that most of its population is within 100 miles of the United States border. Beyond that, it's wild, wild west. Nobody knows. It's too difficult to live there. That being said, Canada has a lot of potential, but somehow, somewhere, something is wrong. I'm going to be telling you these things, and then I will give you a quick take on what I think is happening. So I have a small slide deck. A request to all of you to please like this video, and if you've not already subscribed to our channel, please kindly do so. Here we go. New set of problems for Indian students in Canada. They are facing anxiety after receiving emails from the Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, called the IRCC. It's the equivalent of INS in the United States. They are asking that the students resubmit their documents. Remember, there was a big hullabaloo about how fake Canadian visas were issued from India. 700 students were caught and sent back. I think this has now snowballed into a much bigger problem, especially from the state of Punjab. And also, I have a feeling that the Chandigarh consulate of Canada may have something to do with. I have no proof, okay, so don't kill me, but I'm just saying that somewhere this was a closed loop system that unexpectedly got opened. So what has happened is this has caused widespread concern among international students, especially if you happen to have valid visas. Why do you need to go back and resubmit your documents? Heck, I may not have the documents. What happens then? If I had changed 2 hostels or 3 rooms, or if my bags got lost somewhere, there is a stamping on your passport, you are a student, and then you are working towards a degree program. Why this request for resubmission? That's what the students are asking. Because there's just too much uncertainty. Especially if you are a student from Punjab, there are special requests there. They've been asked to visit IRCC officers for in-person document verification. They're not even saying just mail them. You have to come and submit. That means that there is a suspicion that some of them put somebody else's picture and submitted their forms, or during the interview process somebody else attended on their behalf, whatever. There are questions that are lingering in the Canadian officials' minds, and now is an attempt to weed out and sift the grain from the chaff. Really, really bad, especially if you did find a trick or two to come in. Now, this is not all. The Ministry of External Affairs has reported that Canada has the largest number of Indian students at 420,000. And I told you once before, the amount of money that they bring into the Canadian economy is close to $16 billion, 1/6. This number of 4.2 lakhs or 420,000 surpasses the number of students in United States, which is 330,000 or 3.3 lakhs. Now, the influx of students definitely boosts Canadian economy. So does it for the United States. But the problem is, if they have come there with a view to becoming green card holders and then citizens, and now somehow hurdles are being placed in their way, there is a feeling of disgruntlement to start with. Then there is also fear, there is uncertainty, and there is doubt. What's going to happen to us? Are these degrees even worth anything outside? See, this is the other problem. I'm hearing that many universities have enrolled students, especially from Punjab, that are degrees that are worth nothing. I mean, if you're going to take a sociology degree in United States or Canada, it's not worth anything. So these are all problems that are confronting the student. So I don't know how many of these 420,000 students have these kinds of degrees that lead them to nowhere as far as their future is concerned. Unfortunately, they may have brainwashed their parents to putting in their family silver to let them get abroad and saying that once I'm abroad, I'll take care of myself, don't worry, I'll even have you come and stay with me, all kind of sweet nothings, right? So is that what is happening? Well, just watch. This is getting a little more trickier than that. Now, the students are saying that we need clear communication from the IRCC on what exactly do you want. Now, there is a consultant, 𝗪𝗓𝗪, who says that this is a move on part of Canada to control the number of international students. They have also implemented sweeping changes to their immigration policies, and the student direct stream visa program, which expedited student visa applications, was discontinued last month. So basically they are closing the tap of number of students that are coming in. On 24th October, Immigration Minister Mark Miller announced a cap of 395,000. So it used to be 420,000. So it's a good 25,000 less. This is not all. By 2027, they want to accept only 17,000. So this is like going down, and then it will start steeply declining. This is not all. The temporary immigrant numbers, including international students and foreign workers, are set to drop to 446,000 in 2025 and compared to 800,000 in 2024, almost half. They are taking a hatchet to this and trying to cut it off. So that is one side. So we need to see how this plays out. Unfortunately, many of these students harbor a lot of misgivings towards the Indian government, and plus the Indian government doesn't have a big presence in Canada. So I don't know what Indian government can do. There's nothing. They are basically up a creek without a paddle. Unfortunate. I don't know what's going to happen. So we'll have to wait and see. Remember, I told you that the Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister, Chrystia Freeland, has submitted a resignation. For what? That is the question. Well, it looks like Justin Trudeau told her that I'm going to move you out of finance and give you another portfolio, and she is seeing that as a rebuke. She's after all the Deputy Prime Minister. She said, okay, it's now time to maybe set my own charts for a future Prime Minister position. I mean, once you have reached the position of Deputy Prime Minister, the only thing left is to become the Prime Minister. And you can have a divergence of opinion on something that could be weak for the Prime Minister, meaning Justin Trudeau, and who knows how many people he is able to muster behind her. There could be a battle for the leadership of the Liberal Party. Let's just leave it at that there is a coalition, and she has now resigned from it, so she ceases to be also the Deputy Prime Minister. So there is a developing problem here. Why is this happening? Well, it all has to do with Trump's threat to put 25% tariffs on Canada. You have to understand, especially Canadians who are watching this, please understand this tariffs threat is coming because of how Canada has allowed drugs to come in from China and other countries, which then eventually end up in United States. I've been saying this for many months now. Sure, you probably thought that I was making it all up. No. Just look at Netflix and Amazon and how many series are now coming on the new ways in which drugs are finding their ways into the Western Hemisphere. Now, if they had controlled this, this would not have been a problem. Now, what's going to happen is the $100 billion Canadian economy, which is sort of what the surplus some believe is that Canada enjoys with United States, will just vaporize, make it much harder for Canadian imports in United States to stand up against other counterparts. I'll give you a simple example. A lot of teak, timber, wood paneling that people use for their houses, like flooring or even cabinets, all these things come from Canada. They have a good 20 to 25% less price compared to anything else that the United States makes. It used to be from the Midwest. Now the Midwest is losing its business to Canada because Canada is cheaper, even after the transportation, which could be longer than in case of bringing it from say somewhere in the Midwest to California, for example. Now, what that means is that those things will stop being affordable. And these are very expensive, by the way, very expensive. They range from $4 a square foot to like $20, $25 a square foot, depending on the type of wood, the cut, the design, the color, anything. I mean, I've seen some very exotic designs, and I did all this stuff because I had some work done at home a couple of years ago. So I know what is happening. This is just one industry, but that is what Canada has in abundance. And if that goes away, well, a lot of other things will go away. This is a huge industry, by the way, huge industry. I would not be surprised that if it's in the billions of dollars. And Oregon, Washington, and Midwest in the United States have a lot of wood too. The only reason Canada was more attractive was because they were able to keep their prices down. So a war is waging now, a battle is brewing within the ruling government in Canada as to how to get ready for this 25% tariffs. Note that they are not saying that we are cracking down on drugs, which they can do today. So when Trump comes to power in 30 days, they can say, look, we have taken serious measures to counter the supply of drugs, and here are our numbers. 4 weeks is a long time to show how much you have caught, how much you have dismantled, how much you have disbanded. But wait, they cannot do that. Why? Ask Jagmeet Singh. So this is where things stand. Right now, she has basically pointed out that the way we are going to go about handling the threat from the United States is going to be really critical. It says, our country faces a grave challenge. The incoming administration in the United States is pursuing a policy of aggressive economic nationalism, including a threat of 25% tariffs. What she is trying to say is, we need to prepare today, keep something in reserve, so that if this 25% does indeed hit, that Canada is prepared for it. And for that, she has some views that perhaps are divergent to what Justin Trudeau has. So, huge challenge for Canada. Will this government fall? Very likely, because if the Liberal Party, if they call for a vote of confidence in the Prime Minister, and this would be sometimes even a secret vote, he could go and Chrystia could become the Prime Minister. This is a gauntlet. She has thrown the gauntlet. So I think this is the problem, because the Liberal Party also realizes that with him as their face, they will very well lose to 𝗓𝗲𝗄𝗍𝗲 of the Conservatives, and therefore they want to try and change something to say that, look, we have changed the Prime Minister, we are taking a more realistic approach, we are going to be handling all these things. Although I don't know how Chrystia is going to handle the fact that they do not enjoy a majority in the Parliament. That means they still need Jagmeet Singh's help, which means they cannot work on a lot of things. Right now, Khalistan, this Kurdistan, KKK, whatever you want to call it, these people are completely flush with money from drugs. This is what everyone says, including the intelligence agencies in Canada. To separate them would mean taking oxygen out of their cylinders. Will they allow that? Is that what's going to happen? Well, we'll have to wait and see. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.